You all act like Europeans have not conquered the world. And everywhere they've conquered, it's been a cross. You act like there's a version of Christianity somewhere floating that if these people grasp the integrity of it, they would be better off. Then where is it? Where is that Christianity functioning where that you all are saying that's ameliorating African people's lives, brown people's lives? The Christianity, you can say that there's obviously you're saying there's two versions. There's the one the white supremacists had, and then there's another one that you all are talking about. Show me the power of that Christianity working in the world today.
Can I respond to you? So you're making a number of classical fallacies. The first thing is,
come on now. Answer the question.
I mean, you
haven't answered one question.
I'm answering it. The first is that, again, you're still straw manning the conversation. You asked, how could I say it matters and then doesn't matter at the same time? And I literally explained why it does matter. And I didn't just say for historical accuracy. I said also because of the socio-psychological tool that white Jesus was presented as a tool of oppression.
I'm with you on that. But
went into that. Hold on. I specifically went into that. For that reason, it is important. But I also explained theologically and spiritually why it is not. Jesus's color has no bearing on what he actually accomplished. Hold on. I'm answering it.
Okay.
Humanity has bearing on that. His color does not. That is how, from a spiritual theological standpoint, it doesn't matter. The other thing is that again, all you are really doing is attempting to poke holes in Christianity, but you are not. Hold on, listen. Here's what you are not doing. You are not arguing for anything. You are only arguing against. You haven't put forth any worldview.
That's not the question, though, my brother.
Sir, hold on.
Those are not the questions.
Malik, hold on one second, Malik.
You haven't put forth any reason why your worldview would be superior to Christianity morally, ethically, spiritually. The only thing you are arguing is that it is first, therefore it must be right. In effect, what you are really arguing, hold on, because I didn't interrupt you. What you're really arguing for is what's called ethnic triumphalism. You think that because people are African, they must be more spiritual and therefore more morally righteous. Then that's what you're really arguing. But the reality is that in the biblical worldview, all humans are sinners, including Africans. So the fact of the matter is that no matter how far you go back in African history, all you're going to find is African sinners who are just as morally corrupt as anybody else in the known world. Now, that doesn't negate their genius. It doesn't negate their contributions to technology and to science. But the fact of the matter is, sir, you are not offering us anything. But let me answer the question in this way, because this whole notion about not only is the skin color or the racial identity of Jesus isn't important to answer, but even the liberation piece still, intersects back into that. Let me just read this list off real quick.
You gonna answer my question?
I'm answering it. You gotta listen. I'm answering it. Listen to this. Listen to this. I want you to just listen to this.
To all my soldiers, we are knee deep in spiritual warfare, and Hardly Initiated has created some additional armor for the fight. The Fight the Flesh bracelet is a stylish reminder to stay disciplined in the face of battle and temptation. So click the link in the description and get yours today. And don't forget, use code CLIPS for 10% off. Let's fight.
Phyllis Wheatley, Mary McLeod Bethune, Fannie Lou Hamer, Richard Allen, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Athanasius, Augustine, Bishop Alexander of Alexandria, Tertullian, Abba Moses the Black, King Azana and King Sazana of Ethiopia, Shenouda the Great, Daniel Alexander Payne, Rosa Parks, Marian Anderson, Benjamin Banneker, George Washington Carver, Lot Carey, Alexander Crummell, Thomas Dorsey, Frederick Douglass, John Hope Franklin, Henry Highland Garnett, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, James Weldon Johnson, Absalom Jones, Vivia Perpetua, Simon the Niger, Martin Luther King Jr., Paul Robeson, Francis Grimke, Booker T. Washington, Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, George W. Williams, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Emperor Haile Selassie, Samuel Cornish, Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, Gabriel Prosser, John Berry Meacham. You want to know what they all had in common? Every last one of them were Christians, and they were all liberators. And so if you want to talk
they did not
about
liberate
why,
us.
oh, yes, sir, they were.
Nat Turner was turned into a belt. Denmark Vesey was killed.
They were.
We were not liberated. You just read off the name of people who used it and did not liberate us.
You're interrupting.
You did not answer my question.
You're interrupting. They were all great Africans. They were all brilliant. They were all Christians. And it was their Christianity that informed their liberation, their Black liberation thinking. And so the reality is that when they were thinking about what is best for the liberation of enslaved African Americans, they did not think about your worldview. They did not think about Islam. They did not think about any other worldview.
They were slaves.
They thought about biblical Christianity.
And bro, that's what being conquered looks like. And so you asked me a question.
I'm glad. Hold on. I am glad that you are saying this. Hold on.
You asked me a question.
Hold on, sir. I am glad that you are saying this in front of thousands of people. You are considering this august list of people that I named conquered people. Therefore, they were inferior in their thinking, colonizing your thinking. I'm glad that you said that, because you need to present a better list.
I will do it. Let me say this. Because the crowd is clear. Those who are pushing the buttons are clear on your side. Let me just tell you what you just did for me. You just named a bunch of people who we all love and respect. Those are ancestors. And that's great that you did, right? But you mentioned that they were liberators. But the question that I asked was very simple. The fact that they used the Bible as a tool to liberate us, and we are not yet liberated, is the proof of my argument. And that's why I say, no matter how passionate, and this is a passionate conversation, but what I'm saying to you, that's a matter of historical fact at the present moment. You asked me, why haven't I put forward? That's not the question. The questions was all Christian situations where we're supposed to push holes in it. If you ask me, what is the worldview that would liberate us? I would point to our attempt at liberation should look like this. The only time African people have
let me ask you this question.
I'm in the middle.
Your worldview about liberation.
This is where Sean, you said,
what I want to do is put you on the ropes. Your idea, your worldview, your idea about liberation. Please tell us, inform this audience. Where is that working in the world? And what group of people, what Black group of people is it currently liberating? Please explain that to us.
So now let me show you what you just did. These thousands of people that you just talked about. I asked you a question. You read a list of people. Nat Turner was melted and turned into a satchel and a belt.
That's irrelevant.
How is he a liberator? You think that I'm speaking down on him. I'm just speaking about the reality. I asked you a question. Show me where the version of Christianity that you have that's being used somewhere in this planet, and we are getting free by it, and you can't answer it.
I actually did. You
keep telling me not to interrupt you, and now you're interrupting me.
Wait, one second, guys. We got to slow it down here, because Malik, I actually really wanted you to finish that point. We never got to finish it.
I wanted to finish it.
Because you were about to break down what the worldview is that you believe actually can lead to liberation. So please go ahead and finish that point before we get to the next person. Go ahead.
So thank you. So in order for us to conceptualize this, right, as African people at this very present time in the world, we have to first understand what we are currently, how we became what we became, and was there ever a time that we were not this? before we were colonized, before we were enslaved. When we talk about Egypt, and even when the brothers talk about Ethiopia and so on, West Africa, Timbuktu, Songhai, Mali, when we talk about this, this is pre-colonial, pre-European dynasties. And those people had a form of divinity, and that divinity allowed them to become what they were. And in us reasoning historically, we realize that at a certain point in our relationship with international peoples, namely Europeans, we saw our decline to this day. A glimmer of the most successful liberation attempt in history took place in Haiti. And that is where our people captured, embraced their cultural tradition, their ancestral traditions that go back to the continent that predate the influence of Europeans. And that was the first successful liberation of our people to gain our independence. Later on, we were conquered again. So my worldview is this. It's simple. I've seen, if we just to balance just the years, we've been slaves, enslaved, and in what Saidiya Hartman calls the afterlife of slavery for the last hundreds to thousands, as Jared said, is the last 1,000 years have been the worst period of time for African people. My worldview is this. There has never been a narrative in existence where the African could remain the African and have a relationship with divinity. She's always had to convert to something else to have a relationship with what's called the true and living God. I understand, you ask me what I believe is not what I believe. We deserve to ourselves, we deserve to give ourselves an opportunity to test our social theory of change by being African and seeing if African is enough to liberate us. Because how long do we need to wait? You asked the question about the racial identity of Jesus. I would argue that if there was a person waiting floating in the universe who had the same racial makeup, ethnicity as us, he would have come already to save us.